Hello everyone, this is going to be a very basic introduction to R and RStudio. So I have my R and my RStudio currently open. So for R, this is going to be the R console, and you can see there's a prompt. It is waiting for my command. Okay, so let's probably do the most basic ones. So that is adding up two numbers, which is going to be just, say, for example, 2 plus 3, and that's going to give me 5. Or I can give an assignment, say, for example, A is 4 and B is equal to 5. And if I add A and B, and that's going to be 9. Okay. So this is probably the most basics of using R, but let's probably go over to RStudio and try to say, why do we use RStudio a lot more than R the console? Okay, obviously you could see that there are a lot more interface that you could see if you first open up RStudio. There is a script, there is a console, there's your history, and if you have plots, then you could give plots, or if you have certain files and if you have certain packages, you can also look up the help functions and so on and so forth. Okay, so just like we did over at RStudio, I could do the same thing. Say, for example, a is 2 and B is equal to 3. And the good thing is that you could see the history of what you have done so far. You have assigned A and B, and that's something that is visible in RStudio but not visible in R. And also, if you go to your environment, now it gives you what A and B and what their values are, and which is going to be 2 and 3 respectively. Okay, now I can probably say that C is going to be, you guessed it, it's 4. And now you could see that it is giving 4. Okay. And for R, one of the basic things that you would need to understand is creating a vector. Okay. So that is a vector of numbers, or it could be a vector of string characters and so on. And how to create a vector is actually quite simple. It's just using a function called C. Okay, so now I'm going to be creating a vector. I'm going to name that D, and with the function C, I'm going to give A, B, and C. C first. C, this C is a function C, and this C is, remember, that's the value C. Okay, and now I have created a vector of 3 numbers. Okay, and now you could see that once I hit enter, D has a value of 3 numbers, that is A, B, and C, or in terms of numbers, that's going to be 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and now we have gone into the basics of R, which is using functions. Okay, and now you could use not just the vector function. Let's say, for example, I would like to get the sum of A, B, and C, and I could use a sum function. Okay, so in this case, I could say that, okay, what's the sum of A, B, and C? And if I just say sum A comma B comma C, and that's going to give me 9, which is adding 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and obviously I could do a similar thing, say for example, what's the maximum of A, B, and C? And again, it's a function of max. In parentheses, I put A comma B comma C, and it's going to give me 4, which is the maximum of the 3 numbers. Okay, and one of the things that I could do is that I could do a summary. Okay, summary is going to give me the summary statistics of whatever function or list that you put in. Let's say, for example, I put in D. Okay, and D, remember, that was a vector of A, B, and C. And if I hit enter, now it's going to give me my minimum, first quartile, median, mean, third quartile, and maximum, which is going to be these numbers. Okay, and now I know that D is probably not going to be the most interesting vector, so let's probably use one of the built-in data sets, which is, I believe it's cars. Okay, if I hit enter cars, it seems that I have 50 numbers. Okay. And one variable is speed and one variable is distance, which is indicating, depending on your speed, what is the distance that it took to stop your car. Okay, and let's say, for example, I want to get a summary of the car's speed. Okay, now what this is doing is that I'm getting the summary and data is cars, and I'm referring to the variable speed by the $sign. And if I hit enter, then it's going to give me my minimum, which is for my maximum, which is 25, median, mean, and first quartile and third quartile. Okay, so this is probably the most basics of using R and RStudio. Hope this video was quite helpful for you.